Rugby World Cup 2019, Pool C. It is the pool of death. It's called the pool of death because it contains big guns in England, France and Argentina. And it's a tough pool, especially if you include the fact that Tonga and the USA are by no means minnows in the scheme of things in World Rugby. These guys are proper Tier 2 teams who, on their day have been known to give teams a hard time. So it's a tough pool. And to add to that, they have the toughest travel schedule of all. Now, Japan's not a huge country in terms of having to travel across multiple time zones or, catch multiple flights or anything like that. But still, it does seem like a pretty tough pool in that there is a lot of travel and a lot of tough games. That being said, it is the second favoured pool to produce a Rugby World Cup winner. So Pool B is the favourites with the All Blacks and South Africans in it. But this pool, I guess, with those three big guns, like I said, is the third favourite to produce a winner. Sorry, second favourite to produce a winner with those three big teams. So the favoured World Cup win, if it is going to be a team, or at least a team to make the final from Pool C, it's either supposed to be England against New Zealand or England against South Africa. Equal odds. This is a bookies thing, so read into that what you will. England are the favoured team in this pool. Although if you look at the schedule, they do have a pretty tough road ahead. The opening game is France against Argentina. In the French press conference, when they named their side, they did say this game really does decide who already has that 1 foot in the playoffs or the quarterfinals. And that's pretty much the way it is. Because if you lose this game, you've got to somehow get a win against England and preferably get bonus point wins in your other games as well. So it's a tough ask for whoever loses that game, but it's going to be an immense game. It's a great thing that it's the opening game for both those sides, so there's no real advantage to either one either way. Next game is England against Tonga. Again, opening game for both those teams. England will be heavy favourites for that one, especially with Tonga having had a pretty rough time of it against New Zealand over here in the warm-ups. The third game of the pool is actually England again. So you'll see with the color coding system I've done here, this is the fixtures for each team. Green means they've had 7 or more days rest between games. So you can see the opening games are all green. Blue is they've had 5 or 6 days rest, and red is just 3 or 4 days. So England have got a big red there with USA because it's a 3-day turnaround. Following that game against Tonga, they've got to back up against USA. It's a little bit tougher in the fact that it's the USA's opening game. So those guys will be fit and rearing to go. But realistically, as I've said it before with other teams, you would expect England to change the majority of their squad, barring injury. There shouldn't be too many players having to back up 2 games in a row. The next one is Argentina against Tonga. Neither team is on a full rest here, but you can see Argentina's fixtures. They never get a full 7 days after the opening game. So once they're into it, they're really into it. Tonga for that one, 5 days rest, so not quite as much as the Argentinians. France, USA is the next one, and France get a really big break. It's the equal longest break between games for any of the teams in the Rugby World Cup. Only New Zealand have an equal break of this, so they got 10 days between that Argentina game and the USA game. It's kind of almost too long because it means you're going to have to cram a few games in at the end. But 10 days is what it is for them. I don't know whether they change their players up or given 10 days, you let these guys who played in that first game back it up in that next game. Either way, it is 10 days for them. And for the USA, it's 5. So a bit of a stark contrast there. Next one is England against Argentina. That one's on my birthday. So that's a pretty good present for me because that's going to be a massive game. England-Argentina, it's going to be possibly a do-or-die game for Argentina, but either way, whatever happens, even if Argentina get the win in the opening game against France, it's still going to be a huge game. England on 8 days rest, Argentina on 6, so England with a slight edge there. But again, squad management is going to be key no matter what. The next one is France-Tonga, and this is what I'm talking about France paying the price for that 10-day break. It's a 3-day turnaround before they play Tonga. And they mentioned it in the French press conference that they lost to Tonga at the 2011 Rugby World Cup in the pool, so they will be looking to avoid that fate in this one. They want to be consistent, so they do back up against Tonga with a full 7-day break. So I guess the French will be looking to quell those bad memories from the past by putting in a good performance there. Argentina against USA is the next game. Argentina for that one, having a pretty big turnaround in terms of it being short, and you'll notice that the USA actually have a couple of teams play them on the bounce. So if there is one advantage going the USA's way, is that only France get a full break before they get played. Tonga, England, and Argentina all have to play them in a relatively quick succession after their previous game. So USA on 6 days rest, Argentina on 3. And that's Argentina's final game of the pool. So it could be a really interesting one if Argentina really need to get a bonus point win just to, give themselves one last shot and hope that France drop points or something like that. England against France, second to last game of the pool. And France don't have it all that easy, as I said, with that tail end of their fixtures. So they've only got 5 days before England. So that's really a couple of tight games at the end. So there's not a whole lot of rest. How they decide who to play, who to rest is going to be very important for them. England on 6 days rest is not as bad. And then the final game, USA-Tonga, which again could be a cracker because you're really expecting these guys to lose pretty much all their preceding games. So it is similar to Pool B. It's that do or die game where you get that one chance to win a Rugby World Cup game. So both sides will be fighting for the pride of their countries for that one. But again, World Cup upsets happen. They've happened before. With that schedule, can USA or Tonga get an upset? It's unlikely, but it's never impossible. We've seen it multiple times at World Cups. Oh, the phone's ringing. It was always going to be something, wasn't it? Yes, first day I did the video in this room, it was bins. Second day it was the door opening by itself. Nobody touched it, and today it's the phone. Interesting introduction to doing videos in this room. Anyway, so the last game is that USA-Tonga one. Rounds the pool out. USA are going to have to back up after only 3 days. Tonga on 6. So, that's the fixtures for Pool C. Very interesting pool. In terms of rest, France and Tonga get the most rest. But as I said, France have got one big bulk of it. They've got 18 days rest. But remember, it's 10 between these two. And then the other games are kind of crammed in. England's on 17 days rest, Argentina's on 15, and USA gets the short end of the stick with 14 days rest. In terms of travel, Tonga have the worst run of any team at the Rugby World Cup. They've got the most travel to do, with 2,990 kilometers to travel, so just 10 Ks shy of 3,000 Ks. And it's interesting because the USA and France are also more than 2,000 Ks. From Pool A and Pool B, it's only the All Blacks that have teams doing that many Ks in their pool games. So the fact that there's 3 teams in Pool C doing that many kilometers just seems like an interesting bit of scheduling. Argentina have it best with only 1,081 Ks to go. England with 1,500. So again, I don't know how much of a factor the travel thing is going to be. The rest days probably more so, but it is just interesting that Samoa, in terms of their pool, have the most travel and the fewest rest days. Tonga also have the most travel, although they do get a better deal than Samoa with their rest days. So there's always that kind of little thing about, do the Pacific nations always get kind of shafted by World Rugby in terms of their fixtures and whatnot? But I don't know how much do you read into that. But anyway, it's going to be a very interesting pool. Which teams get out of it is going to be a one to watch. I mean, I'd love to see the Argentinians go through because they play here in Super Rugby, and they've got some absolutely world-class players. They've been so good at Super Rugby, but not quite able to match that in the Pumas. But hey, I'm be happy to be proven wrong with them. France, you feel like, are a team that, despite being relatively inconsistent, was probably an understatement for French rugby, have got a lot of talent in that squad as well. So I'm hoping for big things for them. I mean, either way, it's a neutral pool for me, so I'm kind of happy with whoever goes through. But it is just a tough one to pick. England, a team that everybody loves to hate, but again, proper world-class players, so we'll see what kind of shift they can put in. And USA and Tonga, who've got it pretty tough, but hopefully can do their countries proud as well, like I said. So yeah, that's Pool C. If England do go through, other people have mentioned this as well, they've got a pretty tough run, because if you think they get through the pool, you've got Argentina, France, which is a tier 1 team, quarterfinal, semi-final, final. That's 5 very, very tough games in a row. So if they are going to do it at the World Cup, they are going to do it tough. But yeah, you guys let me know your thoughts on Pool C. How do you think it is going to go? And I'll talk to you again soon. I'll go find out who that was on the phone. I'll see you later. Remember guys, time is running out. The Rugby World Cup is almost upon us. If you haven't decided how you are going to watch the games, click the ExpressVPN link in the description to go through to this page. If you want to sign up, you can do so. It's got a 30-day money-back guarantee. You can go ahead and watch these Rugby World Cup games via ITV. How do you do that? You sign up here with ExpressVPN. Get that side sorted. Go to ITV here, which is itv.com. Make an account, which just requires an email address, and pick a UK postcode. Log in there, and you can find the sport, which is all going to be here. It's going to be live streaming, and I've contacted them to ask if it's going to be on demand. They said yes. They're trying to get it up within 2 hours of the game being played. So yes, Rugby World Cup. If you're not in the UK, you're not going to be able to watch it unless you connect to ExpressVPN. So I'm just doing it here. It's a UK location. Connect to that video. Connected, and instead of getting the error message that I can't watch the content the second time, it is just going to work and say that if I want to watch it, push the play button. So that's all you got to do. ExpressVPN. It's the way to watch the Rugby World Cup if you haven't sorted out how to do it thus far. But yeah, either way guys, Rugby World Cup's almost here. Happy days, and I'll talk to you again soon. See you later.